Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to our podcast, Talk Tuesdays, where every week we delve into topics to help us on our personal journey of self-fulfillment, self-actualization, and just a general growth of ourselves. This week, I want to jump into the topic of stress. But before we address that topic, I want to acknowledge that for the longest, or at least for this season, when I told myself to start this podcast, I told myself to create a video component, and I was battling with perfectionism, right? Like, oh, I gotta have a video, I gotta have this. This is it. These are the resources I have at the moment, and I want to applaud myself for moving past that fear, doubt, and perfectionism and showing up to film the podcast today. So that's what we're here today. That's why we're here today together via YouTube. But to jump into the topic of stress. So most recently I had the worst bout of stress, and I was able to ride that wave and overcome it. This was literally a couple of days ago, and I want to share what I went through. Hopefully this information can help you, or you could use these resources at a time in your life, right? When you really, really need it. Most recently I was stressed because I had so many things going on mentally that I wasn't dealing with. And that's like my response to life sometimes, is to just freeze. And when I'm frozen, all the things that I want to do and I care about doing kind of become like the foresight. And I'm like, oh, I'm just stressing myself about things that I actually have no control over. I had to really acknowledge my role in the stress. And my role was me being frozen, me not doing anything, me not writing it down, me not getting things done day to day. What made me actually jump into this realization, I must share, I was working on an acting exercise. So acting has been something I've been pursuing. I love to do it since I was a child, but I do it and I'll come back and forth with it, right? So I open my email. I have a class assignment from the studio I study at, which I'll also share with you. I study at Susan Basson Studio, and we had an exercise assignment. The exercise was called the tragic flaw, addressing your own tragic flaw. And I do the exercise, and immediately the self-cleansing happens inside of me, where I realize this tragic flaw is also what's happening with me in life right now and why I am stressed. My ability to go through that exercise reawakened my flight or fright thing, right? Because when I freeze and I no longer pay attention to the things that I want to do, I start moving in these mundane ways, because it's like I feel overwhelmed and I feel like I'm stuck. And I am stuck because I'm not moving myself. Doing that exercise like revitalized my feeling towards acting, but it also revitalized me to realize that that's me. So I had to be accountable for myself, which was a big, big thing. Number two, something that helped me acknowledge my stress and get over it, was that I wasn't writing anything down. I'm a big fan of planners. My favorite planner right now is the productivity planner. Give you a sample page where you write down your 5 most important tasks of the day, little space for notes. You can measure your productivity, and you work in increments of 25 minutes, and it helps you stay focused. This is my favorite planner, but I've been jumping around dating different planners ever since the whole bullet journal trend came out. But this is my favorite planner, and I resorted back to it because the other planner that I use just has open space in a day of the week. And I'm not ashamed. I'll show you that my days of the week end up looking crazy like this, like so much going on. So being organized, writing things down is something that definitely helped. Doing something that I loved helped, and being accountable for where I was in that moment, being able to see myself through the tragic flaw exercise was such an eye-opening thing for me. Sometimes when you're pursuing anything and you don't have an immediate result, I know I can really beat up on myself. So that was such a life changer for me. My week turned around. I was so down. I didn't want to wake up. I wanted to be asleep. And I'm here today. I'm working on it. I'm working with you. I'm sharing this podcast. So I just want to impart on you, stress is something that we induce onto ourselves. It's not really a nature or a natural thing to do. And to address it, we have to be willing to be accountable for our actions. My planner helped me definitely in me pursuing something that I loved, and also me able to be honest with myself, which is sometimes very, 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 very difficult. Early on in the podcast, if you listen to the first couple of episodes, I mentioned accountability, having relationships with someone, and you could work with them as accountability partner, that would have helped tremendously. So I'm very grateful for the acting class I'm in. I'm very grateful for these creative outlets that I'm pursuing, and it's just helping me on my journey of becoming myself. So I hope that my transparency helps you. If ever you're stressed, I'm going to list the resources that I use, that acting class. If you're interested in studying this planner, I got it off of Amazon, but I'll list it. And I also list ways to communicate with me. I started this podcast, what do they call it? A passion project. I started it because I wanted to. I wanted to constantly work on self-development, but I need to also partner it with a component of business, right? How to share it with more people. So if you know people who love self-development, they love working with life coach. I'm not a life coach, but I do share those resources. Please share this podcast with them. I'm very grateful for your time today. I hope I got to the point. Hit you with the goods. Please reach out to me on Twitter. My name is Alicia. I'll type all of that in the description, and see you guys next week.